Brace yourself for the reality check you've been waiting for. The one and only Mike Gallagher Show.
I know we ought to probably put politics on the back burner today, but I can't help myself. It is a joy to watch the legacy media give credit to President Trump for this incredible deal. Israelis are thanking President Trump and Prime Minister Netanyahu for this peace deal. Both of these men who are often pilloried, eviscerated, criticized, mocked, denigrated. Look at what we are able to share with you today. Let there be peace. Those are words from the New York Times. All over the legacy media today, NBC, ABC, CBS. How about MSNBC? You know, because tomorrow is the deadline for the announcement of the Nobel Peace Prize recipient. How can it not be President Donald J. Trump? Check out what Trump critic Morning Joe had to say this morning on MSNBC. Man, the leftist viewers of MSNBC must think they're down some kind of Alice in Wonderland rabbit hole.
Announce, I think we should give him credit. He gives a Nobel Prize or not, I don't know. I mean, they gave a Nobel Prize to Churchill and didn't give it to Gandhi, so I don't know how they figured this.
They also gave it to Barack Obama before he had actually done anything.
All right, still ahead on Morning Joe. We're going to get
that. That's Al Sharpton and Joe Scarborough. And Joe Scarborough points out, well, they gave it to Obama and he didn't do anything. Heck, they gave it to Al Gore for climate change. Hate to break it to you, if Al Gore is a Nobel Peace Prize recipient for climate change, well, President Trump, by this time tomorrow, will be announced as the latest recipient. I can't wait to take you back to Israel, and we can do that right now. You know, I've been talking this month. October is our month to lift up the International Fellowship of Christians and Jews. And I got so many compliments over my conversation this week with Yael Eckstein. She oversees all the ministry programs and, of course, is the face, the voice of the International Fellowship of Christians and Jews. I got to believe it's a busy day for her, but shalom, we go back to Israel and see a beaming, smiling Yael Eckstein on our Salem News Channel TV screen on the wall here. Yael, what a day, what a blessing, what prayers have been answered, and I just had to come back to you and get your where you are with your heart, your head. What are you thinking today now that the world has woken up to what appears to be a peace agreement between Israel and Hamas?
Well, I woke up this morning, Mike, and the first thing that I saw when I looked out my window literally was a rainbow. And it was like, oh, hello, God, the rainbow after the storm. For 2 years, this is what we've been praying for. We've been praying to get our people back who were kidnapped from their beds and tortured for 2 years by Hamas, that the only words I have on my lips are, Ze hayom asa Hashem nagila v'nismecha bo. This is the day that the Lord has made. Let us rejoice and be glad in it. And I've been in touch already today with Ambassador Mike Huckabee, and I've been in touch with the families of the hostages, and the International Fellowship of Christians and Jews is there to support them. And we are just with bated breath waiting to see. What I've been saying is kind of like the dry bones that come to life in the vision of Ezekiel, you know, imagining these hostages walking out of the tunnels after 2 years, seeing sunlight for the first time in 2 years, and being able to walk over Israel's border and hug their family for the first time in 2 years. This is the vision of Ezekiel, the dry bones that are coming to life here in the Holy Land. And it's all because of President Trump and Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu.
And this is not a day without some sadness. I appreciated my friend and colleague, Hugh Hewitt, who posted on X, pray for the comfort of Rachel Goldberg Poland and John Poland, the parents of Hirsch. You know, we all followed the cases of so many of these victims and these hostages. Hugh says to pray for the families of the hostages who died in captivity and the families of the more than 900 IDF soldiers who died in the war after the massacre of October 7th. Their joy, Yael, for other families must be mixed with the most unimaginable sorrow today.
Indeed. This is when the healing actually starts to begin, not when it ends. We've all been in our bomb shelters for the past 2 years with over 35,000 rockets from 7 different fronts being launched at Israel the size of New Jersey. And for those families who have lost loved ones on October 7th, the hostages, the heroic soldiers, this is definitely the closing comfort of a chapter. But this is when the healing begins. This is difficult. This is hard. This is painful. And many of them, Mike, are American. Just like Rachel and John Goldberg, there are other Americans who are still mourning right now. So as we mark 2 years since October 7th, when the world changed, when Israel changed, I would say that the International Fellowship of Christians and Jews, praise God, has delivered food to the hungry, clothes to the naked, shelter to the poor, and we're not stopping now. In fact, for those families who are getting their loved ones back, the fellowship is there to provide food for the families of the hostages during their 7 days of mourning when they get the bodies of the kidnapped back. The fellowship will be there to provide food for the Shiva, for the mourning period, to tell them Christians and Jews around the world, specifically in America, stand with you in this sadness, not just in the joy.
And our audience can help provide those meals for those who are going to be mourning and go through the 7 days of mourning period. We are right now in the middle of our partnership with the International Fellowship of Christians and Jews here on the Mike Gallagher Show, and our audience has always stepped up. They've been so generous over the years. Your gift of $25 or more will help rush these food boxes. You'll help build bomb shelters in the most vulnerable areas. You'll help provide bulletproof ambulances. You'll help donate life-saving equipment to hospitals, and that's only scratching the surface. So make no mistake, the announcement of this peace deal doesn't mean that the work by the fellowship comes to an end. In fact, in many ways, we need you more than ever. So please go to mikeonline.com, and you'll see a banner there where you can make a secure online donation, mikeonline.com, or you could call in your donation, 800-613-5511, 800-613-5511. And Yael, let me close by acknowledging sort of the elephant in the room here. And this is difficult because I think there's an understanding that there's a great deal of controversy and drama over support for Israel. There always is, there always has been, there always probably will be. And it's fair to say that there are some people, even on our side of the ideological aisle perhaps, who have sort of cooled in their support for Israel during this 2-year war. It's complicated for people. It's difficult. No one likes to see the devastation of Gaza. In many ways, this is the blessing that was needed, this announcement today, because, look, the United States and Israel are allies. We are aligned spiritually. We are aligned politically. We are aligned biblically. And so I'm sure you could acknowledge, and maybe I'm wrong, maybe my perception is off, but it does seem to me that this is a blessing and a godsend considering the timing, because there were people that were starting to sort of cool a little bit and back off from their enthusiastic support of Israel. Have you seen that at the fellowship?
Well, I think you make a lot of really good points. I think the first thing to recognize is, when does the war end? As soon as Israel gets our hostages back. That's what this war was about the whole time. We sanctify life, and we will do anything to get our people back. The second we get the people back is when the war ends. And I would tell you that also when it comes to Israel, something that I encourage everyone to remember is that Israel is a spiritual story. Israel is a biblical story. Israel represents the faith and the knowledge that God is still working in our lives, that God is still working in this world. It's not about politics. And so you could agree or disagree with Israel's politics while still standing spiritually with Israel, while still recognizing that we are called to pray for the peace of Jerusalem and continuing to believe that it's possible and that it will happen. And so I think in a world that's become very critical of Israel, I think there are those who genuinely just God, and this is their way of getting back at God by hating his children. But then there are others who legitimately just don't agree with many of the things Israel's doing or many of Israel's policies. But I would encourage those people, like any other country in the world, Israel's not perfect, but we have to recognize the story of Israel is spiritual, is biblical, and we stand for freedom, for sanctity of life, and those Judeo-Christian values that if we don't stand together on, we're all going to lose.
Well, it's a blessing to get to visit with you again today, Yael Eckstein. I am yearning to go back to the Holy Land. Perhaps, just perhaps, that will happen very soon. So thank you so very much. I'm praying for all of you, and I'm praying that our audience will bless the International Fellowship of Christians and Jews with their generous donations today. MikeOnline.com. Please give what you can. Yael, God bless you. Keep fighting the good fight, and we hope to see you soon.
For full shows, live and on demand, it's Salem News Channel.